Well, hi there, it's Paulie here, with my companion in crime, Schnoots, who's in holiday mode, and he's in holiday mode because, let me show you where we are. Alright, welcome to the Andaman Sea, and behind me you can see Karst Islands, these amazing formations, and these formations and these islands have starred in some interesting pirate movies, such as Cutthroat Island and so on. And that's why I've waited to do this, because Pirate Borg. I've dragged this thing through literally thousands of miles of travel because I wanted to review this for you guys, and I wanted to review it here. So, this is also definitely the only role-playing game review I know of that's been done by someone wearing a thong-back bikini. But, so, Pirate Borg. Right, Pirate Borg is a cleave-off from the Mork Borg property by the Sons of Fun at Modophius. Now, I haven't reviewed Mork Borg. To me, it was very miserable and kind of nihilistic. Pirate Borg I find to have more of a core of good fun to it, so well worth doing. Very playable game, brilliant piece of work. And here it is, Pirate Borg, hardcover, pretty substantial and superbly illustrated. Now, there's a habit at the moment where some people are trying to use page layout as one of the ways of telling the story of the game, of communicating the feel and the information that will help you run your game. Sometimes this fails. It just throws a random collection of sort of page layout tricks at you and essentially uses too much page space to convey too little information. It's very seldom done right. So Gabriel Quiroga's work does it right. This one also does it right. And it's beautiful. Now, what I love is, open the book, inside front covers, which is just what's going to jump at you. First thing you see is the loot the body chart, a D100 thing for when you're looting a corpse, what cool, strange, dangerous, or downright nonsensical stuff you find on it. Okay, and then facing that is the carousing tables for when you've been out to, drinking at the tavern. Last night you did this with what, you wake up where, and you are now or this has now happened to you. So, okay, that sets the tone pretty well. Yeah, Pirates and Skeletons, of course, deeply beloved by us all, ever since On Stranger Tides and so on. Now, so there's a couple of different ways of running this game, and we'll get into that in a minute. Basic information, this is the Dark Caribbean. So this is the historical Caribbean, but dark and strange stuff is afoot. The game system, it's a D20 system. You're going to roll that D20 and you're trying to meet a difficulty number. When you're designing characters, you can choose from several different classes. So there are scoundrels who are like ones that are good at tricking and deceiving and this sort of stuff. There are brutes who are great big powerful guys who smash and bash their way through combat. There are swashbucklers who could be great swordsmen, or could be people who are very adept at blazing away with a pistol in each hand, for those of us who love The Mummy and who does not, and so on and so on. You can choose from a number of these different character classes, or you can roll randomly and assign one. Or, if you don't want any of those character classes, you can just be a landlubber. Now, your characteristics, you roll 3d6, and that gives you a bonus range for the characteristics between -3 and +3. You never ever again worry about the 3d6 score. It's just the modifier that we're now worried about, so that's what you recall. But if you go a landlubber, you roll 4d6 and keep the best 3 for all of these. So more powerful characteristics, but the classes all have some special abilities and so on. So, what do you want? Do you want to be a cool generalist, or do you want to be someone who's focused in some groovy areas? So, again, right from the start, it gives you some great choices like that. The other things that you'll randomize is for each class, it will have things where you randomize what weapons you've got, what items that you may carry, and of course you roll to see what kind of hat you wear, because it's very important to know what sort of hat your pirate's got. The characteristics are pretty simple. So what you've got, essentially, hang on, I should just double check on it, but yeah, you have, so you've got strength, you've got toughness, you've got presence, you've got spirit. So you've really just got 4 things to divide a set number of your scores through. Melee, you roll against strength if you're going to attack. If you're trying to shoot someone, it's going to be presence. If you're trying to deceive someone, it's going to be presence. If you're trying to persevere at something, or cast a spell, or pass a morale check, or not scream and run when the nth dimensional entity reveals its rubbery loathsome tentacles, spirit. Toughness, that affects your hit points obviously, but also poisons, and of course resisting grog, because that's fairly important since you're going to be drinking a lot of it. Drinking grog, by the way, gets you hit points back. However, if you do it too often, you have to start testing to see if you become drunk. So, but however, hitting the grog's great. So you'll get hit points, and in this game, your players are the only ones rolling dice in combat. So when combat begins, you roll to see who has the initiative. Once you've decided that, when it's the players attacking, they're rolling to attack their enemy. It's a set difficulty of 12 that they're trying to get on the dice. They're going to add their requisite characteristic and any bonuses they've got from being a particular character class, and likewise the characteristics of their target will come into that. However, when the enemy attack them, they roll to avoid the players' characters, roll to avoid being injured. So it's only the players that are proactively rolling dice. And this is an interesting choice that we are seeing come into a few games at the moment, particularly ones that have like a darker set to them, because an umpire will be kind to you. An umpire will have a little screen and he'll fudge dice rolls and, oh, this guy's getting low on hit points. Oh, you've been hit. Oh, he'll just say it does 1 or 2 points because he doesn't want you dead. However, when you're rolling things yourself, it's rolled out on the table and everyone sees, so things actually become a bit more dangerous. There's no strange kind hand of fate watching over you. So, no. However, there's a thing called Devil's Luck. Everyone gets Devil's Luck. Some classes get more than others. You can expend Devil's Luck to re-roll any dice roll. You can expend it to reduce the difficulty level of a task that you're about to attempt. You can use it to reduce the damage that you've taken by a d6. You can use it to negate any critical or fumble roll. So if someone has hit you and it's been a critical hit, you can negate that. Or if you've made a fumble, you can negate that. So it is a useful resource that your character will be managing. If you run out of Devil's Luck, you can, when you rest, you'll get a dice roll back of Devil's Luck points. That varies from character class to character class. So there's some really nice features to these character classes. How experience runs is when the umpire feels that you deserve it, you basically get given experience. And so they've said, you've reached a milestone, you found the mighty treasure, you discovered the sunken galleon, you beat the terrible opponent, you discovered that strange new shore, the journey's over, or you finally ran your arch nemesis through the heart and he drops. Something major like that happens, the umpire gives you experience. And here's where it starts to get, so there's been some unusual choices. All of those characteristics, you roll dice. You roll against the characteristic. If you get equal to or higher than the characteristic, it'll go up by 1. But if you get less than, it'll go down by 1. So, in other words, if you've got quite high characteristics, you might start to go down. Okay. You can also expend these points to get additional class features, which are listed on your class. So you gain some of these extra features, and you gain extra hit points. Huzzah! Fantastic. You can, of course, expend Devil's Luck to influence those experience rolls, and if for the first few times you get it, you don't go down. All right. So, in other words, initially your character's going to get some cool ads, but then once you've started getting, a fair bit of experience, this game stops the terrible thing that turns all Dungeons and Dragons based games into a nightmare. The power spiral, where people become more and more and more impossible to challenge and impossible to destroy. They say your pirate is essentially plateauing out, as far as its abilities go. There's some you might be able to concentrate on, use that Devil's Luck and so on, but you're not just going to keep getting better and better and better in everything. As you become a better shot, you've let your swordsmanship drop. As you become smarter, you've been drinking heavier, and you haven't kept the fitness up. Now, in character generation 2, there are tons and tons and tons of really cool charts for making facial features, for making character quirks, for making bits of backstory, for making cool bits of equipment. You can choose any of these, you can roll on them, or you can ignore them and just come up with something cool yourself. It's very, very clear on this. Make this your own. But the way they were selling this character-wise is that you're a pirate, now go out there and steal your Weasley guts out. And in their character lead-ins, they are saying, maybe you were a great, nice, sweet person once, but something's happened and you're a pirate now, matey. You're a pirate now. Sidebar, being actually honest to God descended from pirates, I just have a terrible obsession for pirates. So, this is a cool game. Now, there are additional character classes which you can choose to use or not. Magic using ones, and tall tales. You can roll and be something that's like from a tall sea tale. Mermaids and talking animals and or ghosts, or you're actually dead, and kind of trying to hide this from everyone, etc. You can choose that, and that's where the game becomes interesting, because there's kind of a Cthulhu-esque tinge to it, and obviously the cool skeleton pirate tinge to this. The basic concept of this is that something has happened and this world is getting darker and darker, and the undead are starting to appear, and this gets worse and worse, and it intertwines with these wars and contests that are going on. In some ways it's fired on by the greed and destruction that people like your characters are doing. There's like a story generator chart, which is showing you how different bits of the storyline, like nationalities like the French and Spanish and British competing in the area, how this is advancing and getting worse, how this terrible curse of these undead is getting worse, how natural disasters are getting worse, how more magic is manifesting, how strange things are manifesting. They said you can either roll a d6 and a d6 and kind of cross-index these, or you can pick these and just advance the slots, or you could ignore them, or you can do whatever. But it's a great way of making this world that is getting darker and darker and darker. Now, slight spoiler alert, they bring in a very cool idea. And in this, they've kind of taken it from Blade, particularly Blade TV, which is a cool TV series, but ash. Someone starts discovering that the ash from destroyed undead is a hallucinogen, and it's worth a ton of money. This chart says rolling on it, so if you basically snort ash, you can massively increase your speed and toughness and everything in combat, or sharpen your mind for casting spells and figuring out puzzles and everything, but it starts becoming addictive if you use too much, and it can screw you up. But it becomes a a commodity. So now people are starting to hunt undead and go into places where undead are, because you can sell this, you can ship this back to Europe. This is the new gold. And there's some story hooks for that. I won't give those spoilers, but the ash is really well done. Now, in Morkborg, your doom is certain, the world is destroyed, and everything you do is pointless and pathetic, because everyone knows that the world is destroyed. It's in its last few weeks, so screw it. You just decide to kill a whole bunch of people and steal their stuff while you're just waiting to be consumed by ants or whatever. So that was why I was never into it. This, however, it's got way more of a story behind this Armageddon-like doom that is coming. And this is where you can choose how to play it. You can decide that I'm just running a Caribbean that is going interesting and kind of dark, and I'm going to bring this in, and you can decide I'm going to run a Caribbean that seems to be counting down to some kind of big event, as in things are getting worse. You could try running a great story. The novelist in me immediately looked at this and said, yeah, Armageddon's coming, all this is leading down to doom, this is all fueled by the greed and destruction that everyone's saying around them, but the characters might be the ones that turn this around and stop it consuming everyone. You could choose to tell that story as well, so it's not just a closed book the way Morkborg was. Up to you how you run it. Many parties, they're just going to want to play cool pirates, skeleton pirates, steal stuff. Now, neat stuff here. So when you hit 0 hit points, your character isn't dead. You roll on a little chart and you see what happens. So this is where you might sort of end up losing a hand and have to have a hook, or losing a leg and having to have a peg leg or an eye patch or something like that. Or you might end up with a limp for a few weeks, or they've got a severity of the wound table. If you go into negatives, that's when your character can die. There is a really interesting series of magical mishap charts. Using magic is both very, very effective and very, 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 very dangerous. You're going to have to use Devil's Luck to avoid that. But Devil's Luck is something that you're going to want to use in many different ways. So you're going to start having to hoard that. There's a lovely, simple but fun ship-to-ship combat system. So actually finding ships and attacking them is actually a fun piece of gameplay, and everyone's involved. Every person running a player character will have stuff to do, and then the salvage and the cargoes and so on, they're all in there. You can actually pirate stuff for a living, and since most of the people out there are quite likely to be complete bastards, there's not much of a we're attacking innocent people. No, they're Spanish, and you've just seen what the Spanish are currently up to in the storyline, or they're this horrible merchant guild. You've seen what they're up to, or it's these guys that have been like bursting onto islands where they know that the undead were reanimating, but these are just like graveyards of all these kids and women who died in a plague. So they're just like, attacking, firing canister into hordes of like low-end, not particularly dangerous zombies just to grind up someone's relatives and sell them. So pirating them to take the money that they earned. Fine. So there's some lovely charts for generating derelict ships. What they are, what they look like, what hidden things are on there, what the hidden story is. Why is this a derelict? What's happened? What's hidden on it? Where do you find it? It makes it all quite mysterious. There is similarly generators here for islands, for creating ports, and story generators for how to create adventures and so on. It's full of lovely little charts and things to just really tick your imagination over and really give you some hooks. So a splendid game. Now, another thing I really loved, sea shanties. Sea shanties are important. You can teach your crew different shanties, and they do something. They can only sing a set number a day, depending on the morale and the training of the crew, but they actually have like magical effects, and you learn these like spells, and you have to kind of teach them through as the magic starts building the scenario. Other thing I quite like is they've made distinctions between different sorts of cool skeletal kind of pirates and so on you might read. So Ghost Pirates, very cool artwork there. They have their own set of strengths, weaknesses, operands and so on, but they're distinct from zombies and zombie pirates, who are in turn distinct from skeleton pirates and skeleton crews. There's some fantastic stuff here for skeletal ships and ships made of flesh and all this sort of stuff. There's some pretty funny little side gags as well, like there's the mysterious oyster cult and various other things. There's a Cthulhu-esque element about this, deep ones and possible giant horrendous gods raising from the deep to nom us all. They can be intertwined with the story. A fantastic array of really cool monsters are here. They're nicely divided up into things that you'll find at sea, things that you might find on wrecks, things that you might find on islands, etc. So it's quite easy to manage, and they're all nice and uniquely done. So there's a lot of stuff there that'll give parties pause for thought. It's not just D&D with a pirate hat on at all. It's its own game system, its own setting, and the monsters are unique and really well done. So look, this is a terrific game. I'm definitely going to run it, and it's got a lot of potential for sword waving, swashbuckling, shooty fun. And when your character dies, what the hell? You come back as a skeleton version. Like that's actually in there. The umpire just, all right, well, now you're one of these undead ones. Now you roll for a weakness. What kind of undead weakness have you got? But you're back in play because you've got some new positivities for being undead too. Plus, skeletal pirate, ghost pirate. Great fun. This has a beautiful adventure in it. It's not really just an adventure. It's a mini campaign. Which is being, sorry about that, lots of herbally stuff going on here, plus I've been diving. But yeah, very thorough set of adventures in here, which make quite the little mini campaign. It's really nicely done. Splendid piece of work. And all the charts and tables that you need are then to play the game are concentrated in the end papers of the game, so easy to find. And they've been very good at highlighting which charts and things, if you're doing characters and so on, here's the pages where you find these things. Roll once on each of the charts on page 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. That's generated your character. A great game, a really great game, worth getting. The artwork's splendid. The ideas just come bouncing off the page. The stories and so on, easy to tell, and unlike a lot of sort of more esoteric horror-y stuff, it's often hard to come up with something that's going to engage players. But pirates, everyone wants a tricorn hat, a cutlass, and an excuse to use them. I think it's a good piece of work. Look for it. Pirate Borg. You'll find it on the Modophius website, which means I think they've got it up as PDFs and everything on drive-through. It's a great buy, a great piece of work, and of all the kind of piratey stuff that I've seen, this is the best. And I'm something of a sad-ass connoisseur of piratey stuff because, family reasons plus my own obsessions. Beautiful. A beautiful piece of work. So, anyway, I will leave you with that. This is the last of the on-the-road specials. So I am at Ao Nang in Thailand, which is down near the town of Krabi, but it's on the Andaman Sea where all of these amazing islands, these karst islands, which are basically limestone pillars just jutting up out of the ground and therefore out of the sea, just everywhere. Spectacular place. I love it. Get to Ao Nang. And the hotels here have all got convention space, and they're pretty damn cheap. And whatever conventions you're going to out of town at the moment, you could probably get here for about the same price. So convention in Ao Nang, anyone? Snoots is keen. So anyway, we'll be back to our normal service soon. I've had fun lugging these games along. Literally, I've lugged them thousands of miles up waterfalls and through ancient ruins and through ruined cities, and because I really wanted to do these reviews for you guys in some special places. And for the designers of these games, I wanted to sort of honor them by doing them in special places. So I hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to keep wandering the world. This has been fun. So stay tuned, and I will hopefully see you guys around the gaming table. And if there's any award for coolest location for doing a review, or indeed for only review ever done in a thong-back bikini, absolutely put me up for it. Okay, where's Mr. Snoots? Oh, he's looking forward to a pina colada tonight. Woo! See you guys later. See you around the gaming table. Much love, everyone. Cheers. Yeah, no, not pina coladas here. You're gonna get to, there's no bar. It's an island. It's a desert. Look, sand. It's a desert island. Later. Okay, bye.